Hi, I'm Laura.
Hey, I'm Stefan, and you're listening to Attributed, a podcast library by Dreamdata.
The purpose of it is to store and share all the knowledge that we have gathered across Dreamdata employees through our LinkedIn Lives, podcasts, and webinars.
The typical topics you'll find here can be stuff like marketing,
Sales,
B2B ads,
operations.
social selling maybe. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Attributed session here. Today, we're going to talk about, let's call it maybe a new B2B marketing discipline, advertisement discipline, which is Reddit ads. What's that, Kris? Maybe 4, 5, 6 weeks back, asked on LinkedIn who knows somebody who knows about Reddit ads. I think half of the comments went to your name, Kris. So I'm super happy that you said yes to join me here today to talk a bit about the do's and don'ts of Reddit ads. And I can maybe just, to get you started out, say why I was excited about Reddit ads and why probably I need to learn more about how to do it. But obviously, it's a huge platform, hundreds of millions of users, I guess. It's possible to niche down so you can get very specific about who you're speaking to. So in theory, at least, it should be a place where you can go in with some messaging and then get over to your platforms and make some money. But I haven't quite managed to get there. But Kris, before we get into all the very specific stuff, maybe you can just do a quick intro to yourself and where you're working at today.
Yeah, so hi everybody. Thank you for having me here today, Stefan. So I'm Kris. I work as a senior performance marketing manager at AdConversion, and my journey with Reddit started in early 2023 back at Cognizant. We've heard that the platform has potential. We've seen Refine Labs mentioning that they've seen success with it, so we started small scale budget to see whether it would be feasible to advertise in there. And because we've seen some conversions here and there, we started scaling up, and then more ROI led to scaling up even more.
That's nice. Do you know how long it's been possible to advertise on Reddit?
That's an excellent question. I have no idea, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was for quite a few years, because at the end of the day, those platforms make money off advertising.
Yeah. But it seems only just of recently that they are trying to push it harder to B2B companies now. I get ads from Reddit to advertise for B2B purposes on LinkedIn nowadays quite a lot, which might have been what speaking of how demand is created, might have been why I started to step my toes into that world.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was actually feedback from customers because, for example, whatever rep I have helping you with Reddit accounts, they never ever had anybody using it for B2B. So they have B2C knowledge, and they always, I need to remind them what's our objective, what's the sales funnel, how do we attribute revenue, etc. They are still not in tune with B2B, but I guess that if more companies started advertising, they saw avenue of expansion and possibilities too, yes.
Yeah. Could you maybe just give a brief intro to what is the platform and what is the advertising mechanisms that it offers?
Yes, so Reddit 101, so if you've never heard of it, it's one of the most popular social media platforms. It's purely user-generated content, but it's based around specific communities or topics. So on LinkedIn, for example, you can just post your stuff and your connections and connections of your connections will see the post. On Reddit, you have specific communities related to specific niche or specific problems. For example, in your case, it will be community of B2B marketing. Let's say we have probably some salespeople on the call. There's amazing community of sales. If you are a founder, there is community for you in there. Entrepreneurship, B2B SaaS, there's plenty of communities that will be interest to you. And people post their problems, thoughts. There is plenty of discussions that are valuable. So advertisers start probably focusing on that because you can use in-feed ads, kind of like big image similar to any other platform. Then you have small conversation ads that are within the discussions. And then you have some other ad formats. For example, there is text ad, which seems literally like an organic post. Just it's your own ad, the most basic ad formats. And yes, it's all about visibility to your ICPs. I've seen some data that apparently Reddit has some unduplicated reach of like 44%, meaning that 44% of people that are on Reddit are not on other social media platforms. Of course, it's probably It depends on who do you target, what's your niche, because I guess that if you are targeting marketers, more of them will be on Reddit compared to doctors. That's just my guess. But yes, in general, there is quite unapplicated reach on Reddit, and platform is way cheaper to advertise.
And probably those of us who have stepped our toes a little bit in there would also know a little bit about how do people act on Reddit versus how they act on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter.
I mean, number one thing that you have to be aware of when even posting on Reddit is that there is no name and surname associated to you. So if I post something on LinkedIn, it's me. If I leave mean comment, it can always backfire on me because I posted it. On Reddit, there is no association to your name and surname. If you see some company with horrible ad, you can always post about it and nobody will tie it to you. If you see someone posting something that doesn't make sense, you can always call it out without any consequences. Reddit is amazing anonymity, which is pro because people are anonymous, but at the same time, there is no repercussion for any mean comments and bad behavior.
Yeah. And I think this is kind of one of the things where if you're not prepared for that, that can maybe scare you off. And that's probably also why they have invented the ads and a possibility to say, we don't want to have comments on our posts. Because like if your ad doesn't fall into the taste of that very specific community that you're advertising within, then you might enrage somebody and they are anonymous. So they will just write whatever offending thing that they can think about.
Yes, but I have friends that tried extensively to leave comments on to test the performance, and performance improves when you just let people comment. But yes, then you need to have solid ads that don't give you backlash. Then you need also subject matter expert that will reply to those comments if they are super specific, and you need to monitor those comments. So it's pros and cons.
Yeah, absolutely. Why do you think we're now talking about Reddit ads for B2B companies specific? What are the kind of, if you were to do the pitch of why B2B companies should actually take a look at Reddit ads, what is the opportunity there?
So it starts from super top level. Why you should advertise? Because your ICP is likely to be there. However, on the opposite side, you shouldn't advertise if your ICP is not there. So as I mentioned, there are communities, let's say sales community, let's say B2B marketing community. If your product is super niche or don't have really specific community around it, then there is a chance that not many of your ICPs will be hanging out there. So your ads ROAS or ROI might be low. Now, in terms of B2B advertisers, if your ICP is there, Reddit is way cheaper than other platforms. Comparing to LinkedIn, for example, when you have to pay few $100 for 1,000 unique people reached, pay at least $7 to reach your ICPs per click. LinkedIn is so much cheaper. So that's the benefit that you will have. And also, when you think about it from messaging point of view, you can have so much more personable and mimi, not on brand messaging compared to LinkedIn. Like if you did some memes on LinkedIn, it might work or not work. However, if you do it on Reddit, it's much more likely that people will be receptive to it because it's less professional network compared to LinkedIn. And yes, in terms of, for example, comparing to Google. So on Google, you have paid search. On Reddit, you have also keyword targeting, where your ad will appear within the conversation around keywords that you want to bid on. So when you think about it, crazy example, zoom in for pricing costs you $70 per click if you want to be on the top of the page. I know I checked it recently. For the same zoom in for pricing or zoom in for keyword on Reddit, you'll pay probably $3, $4, and that's on the higher end bidding. So the pricing cost to get visibility is so much lower. So then it all comes down to targeting and messaging. If you have good targeting and your ads are solid, then it should bring you ROI.
So the keyword targeting works in the way where, like, are they scanning the subreddit for the keywords, or how does it work?
Yes, so they are about to introduce more contextual where they scan overall your feed. But as of now, what's currently is happening is that if the keyword appears either in the main thread or in the comments, your ad's supposed to appear because you bid on it. The catch is that you have to have super high bid, otherwise your ad will not appear. It doesn't mean that you will pay amount you are bidding on because they'll apply on second price option. So you'll pay 1 cent more than the second highest bidder.
Yeah.
But if you bid a lot, to appear for those keywords, for example, competitors. Imagine power if you could appear every single time when someone mentions your competitor.
It's not bad.
Yep.
Now, I just published today why I'm taking a break from Reddit ads, but just seeing the comments on that and hearing you today, Kris, makes me probably want to go back for another round. But maybe can you talk a little bit more about the just to motivate people, the success stories you've seen with both like Cognizant and other places? What's the stories there? What have companies been able to achieve?
Let me give you an example of AdConversion. So we spent $2,000 per platform to test which one would bring us like the cheapest cost per lead signups for our own courses, because AdConversion is running courses about B2B marketing, B2B advertising. It's completely for free, lessons below 10 minutes. So it seems that it will be appealing to a lot of marketers, whether starting out or experienced. So we put money towards platforms to see which one would be the cheapest one. And Reddit was, from the top of my head, 60% cheaper for cost per lead compared to big platform like LinkedIn. So that's why it would be appealing. And for example, at Cognizant, we got 9.2x pipeline ROI. So for every dollar we spent, we got $9.2 back. However, there is a catch because it all comes down to attribution. So it wasn't last touch attribution, it was multi-touch attribution. And also once I left Cognizant, they paused the ads because there was nobody to run them. And they are still bringing pipeline because 2, 3, 4 months ago, someone clicked on the ad and saw the content. So even if you stop it, if you go beyond last touch attribution, you will still see impact. So final impact was way higher in the pipeline.
Beautiful. I think one of the things that makes it also makes it interesting is what you said earlier, that when we're on LinkedIn, we're competing with the usual suspects. But was it 40% of Reddit people don't use other social media, which means that there should be like a blue ocean here of people that we could be going after.
Yes, definitely. But like when you think about like good practice overall in marketing is hitting people with different messaging, with different ad formats. Yes, that non-professional approach you can take on Reddit compared to LinkedIn allows you to expand so much more on messaging you can use, audience you can target. However, the issue is that on Reddit you can target either retargeting, but also you can target either by community or interest.
Yeah.
So targeting is way inferior compared to LinkedIn. On LinkedIn you can choose companies, company size, job titles, etc. Only on Reddit it's purely interest or communities. So that's the con.
That's probably where, like, for some B2B companies, they know they only work with companies of 1,000 employees or above. And I feel a little bit that's the same problem I have with Google search ads as well, is that you only know their interest or like the intention that they're searching for. You don't know whether they are actually in a country that you actually are able to serve or at a size of business that you typically would want to sell to.
I mean, I reviewed audiences of people that were coming to my website from Reddit, and I literally listened to every single gong call that we got from Reddit. And yes, issue is that you cannot choose who will see your ads in terms of company size, job title, etc. I recommend highly doing community targeting over interest targeting. So if you do community targeting, you know that roughly they are interested in a topic and it's probably related to their work. And there are small companies, big companies, one-man army, different job titles, different seniorities. Those people will be booking leads. And maybe not even booking leads. They will see the ad, and then a week later, they will Google your name and come either from Google Ad or from direct.
Branded search, yeah. Maybe that's a good segue to talk a little bit about, if you have to be very like generic, which type of companies is Reddit ads good for, and of those who are listening who should not be thinking about Reddit ads at the moment?
So the basic prerequisite is that your ICP has to be there. Now, I had such a great results at Cognizant only because they were a high ACV product. When you think about it, if you're a high ACV product, you just need one person to buy or become pipeline.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah.
I've seen my peers, for example, were doing some PLG product promotion and they succeeded with it. But in general, high ACV is the best case scenario because Reddit is cheap, but also you have bots. Also, you might have small companies booking demo with you, small companies converting. So because of that, if you serve your ads, you just need 1 or 2 good shots to actually break even or make huge profit.
Yeah, so there's something about monitoring. I think that's what I have experienced. I've just been running it for like 5-6 weeks, but the on-platform metrics that Reddit shows me that it's cheap and I get a lot of clicks. But when I then look inside our own product and try to look for how much pipeline did it generate, I'm not kind of able to see super much results. So for anybody who's running ads, just make sure you follow how the traffic performs afterwards very tightly. If we change chapters a little bit into the like on-platform stuff, what's the do's and don'ts? Say you haven't set up a Reddit ad before. What's the targeting you want to set? What are the ad formats you want to set? And you also told me on LinkedIn, there's also some ad formats that you want to not turn on. So maybe can you help people with like the rough sketch of what to do when you're setting up ads and what you shouldn't be doing?
The basic thing that you should do as a good practice is install Pixel. So like first of all, install Pixel before you start running anything else. So install Pixel, of course, set up billing. Once you do that, the most impactful test I ever ran was starting with conversion objective for cold audience. It works way superior compared to other ad formats and objectives. However, the catch is that you need to advertise to a big community. Otherwise, Reddit will serve your ads for a day or two and it will stand the exposure because it will not see results. So that's the biggest hack. But then yes, so like what I recommend doing is structure of brand awareness campaign for cold audience, then conversion campaign for cold audience, and then conversion campaign for retargeting. In terms of targeting, I would highly recommend using community targeting over interest targeting because with interest targeting, you will appear to some random communities. With audience expansion, never ever turn it on because you will be showing to random communities. For example, in your case, analytics software, attribution software, if you do audience expansion, you will be showing to r/job seekers, to students, to finance people, to accounting people. So like audience expansion is definitely no. Interest targeting is definitely no. So community-based targeting. And then because Reddit doesn't have good dynamic UTM tracking, I wouldn't recommend you targeting multiple communities within the one ad group. It's counterintuitive. Every single Reddit ad rep tells me that I should merge multiple communities. Or the catch is that if you merge multiple communities within the same ad group, you won't be able to track which one actually brought you revenue on the UTM level. So like that's probably one of the most impactful thing you can do because if you split communities, one community per ad group, then you can actually after a few weeks start looking into which one brings you leads and then how well those leads convert. For example, Cognizant, we found that r/SaaS, so SaaS community, brought us leads. However, those leads were one-man company that couldn't afford our product. So even though engagement was off the charts in terms of click-through rate, they never actually brought us any pipeline or revenue. We wouldn't know it if we are targeting multiple communities per advert. So yes, interest targeting. Then in terms of placement, so you can have either in feed placement, conversation placement within the conversation. If you are using image ad, then I would definitely recommend you in feed video ads, also in feed. Where if you use conversation placement, the ad image is super small. So I would recommend using text heavy image. I wouldn't recommend using video asset because it doesn't play automatically. It's too small. You have to click on the ad, wait a second to load, and then you can start actually watching it. So yes, definitely for feed image, video. And then I recently saw amazing ads for carousel ad format with conversation placement. Basically what's happening, you have text within like the conversation and then you put multiple images similar to carousel on LinkedIn, but it looks amazing. Otherwise, for conversation placement, only image I find works best.
Yeah, maybe if you find it later, Kris, maybe you can insert it on the live comments here on LinkedIn.
I made a screenshot actually. I make screenshots of those kind of stuff.
Nice. I see it.
So like that's the next level thing. And you see, I learned something because in the past it wasn't displaying so well. Like I've seen carousel format in the past on conversation ads.
Yeah.
It was kind of clunky sometimes ugly, but it seems they made significant improvement.
Something I was thinking about, just as you were talking about, with text ads on LinkedIn, you only pay if people click on them. Is it possible to pull some kind of trick on Reddit where the placement on the right side of the screen, people don't really click, but you would be able to generate a lot of impressions for free if you optimized for clicks there?
For text ads, to be honest, engagement with text ads is amazing. So I wouldn't necessarily try to play it in a way of
Okay.
it for traffic and then get free impressions, because I tried text ads and they have at least twice as good performance compared to other ads. However, the catch is that it's low intent clicks, because especially like text, we spend probably a few $100s for text ads. Performance was amazing, but we had nothing to show for. No leads, no revenue, nothing.
Maybe we can talk a little bit about where you take the traffic after they've come through from Reddit ads, because at least to what I've observed is that they are above 90%, if not above 95% mobile phones. So I think this is something that the people who run the ads should definitely consider, because what looks great on a big computer screen might necessarily be a good experience on a mobile phone. I don't know if this is if you kind of followed the traffic through the sites, Kris, and what you've learned there.
Yeah, so I learned as well that majority of the traffic I have coming from Reddit came through mobile. So your landing page supposed to be mobile friendly. I've seen success with both informational content and straight book a demo content. So I wouldn't say that you need only to one or the other. It all comes down to your budget, to messaging. It has to be quite relevant to the ad. However, what I found also interesting is that most people will come through Reddit and then don't book a demo. If you ever try play with Reddit yourself on the phone, click on the ad and you'll see that it shows you ad on the top and shows you Reddit feed. So they might not actually book a demo. They will just Google you and book a demo even a minute later. So because of that, yes, mobile friendly, not much information. I wouldn't overload them with info, because at the end of the day, it's social platform. Like they didn't mean to learn more about their job or actually book a demo. So like super casual, not information overload landing pages or content landing pages. But again, nobody is coming to Reddit to read long form work related content.
Probably not. Good stuff. So that's kind of how to. Can you say a little bit more about what to put inside the creatives then? Because so Reddit is notoriously not hardcore work boring related. So what have you seen actually work well as creative components inside of Reddit? Not just the format, but the actual thing, the images, the videos, the memes, etc.
Yeah, so yes, of course, memes work off the chart. However, the catch is that you don't want your ad account to be meme ad account, because you'll have engagement but might not necessarily have people buying your products. I like to mix up product ads with meme ads with direct call to action. In terms of the ads itself, I wouldn't put text heavy ad image. I tried it in the past, text heavy versus not text heavy. It didn't work out. We tried some different meme ad for variations, and to be honest, it doesn't make much difference. I would be concerned more about messaging angle than whether it should be green background or blue background. Nope, in reality, I even tried recently having a full image of meme versus meme like branded frame. Difference in performance was not significant enough to actually make it. And in terms of messaging angle, it's usually problem. This is the problem. This is how we solve it. Book a demo. Or this is the pain point. This is the solution. Book a demo. You don't have to overcomplicate it when you think about it. Like in general in advertising, there's probably like 5 to 10 pain points or angles that try out. So I would focus more on themes. But yes, again, not too logical, short and sweet. They came in to talk about their dog. They came in to like talk about their nightmares from uni back ahead. So short and sweet. This is the problem. This is the solution. Book a demo now.
Yeah.
2 sentences, 7 words on the screen.
Nice.
Yeah, that's it.
Good advice. There's a metric that I've been finding interesting. I'll just show it here on the screen, Kris. That is that you can actually see the amount of shares that your post gets as well. I've been sort of using that as an excuse to kind of continue the experiment a little bit, because if it's inside a relevant subreddit, for example, B2B marketing, and the ad gets shared, then the likelihood of those that are the receivers of this ad will also be B2B marketers. So that must mean that there's kind of a sub effect of the ad, that the one that are consuming the ad enjoys it, but they're actually also sharing the ad to their friends with common interests.
I mean, number one reason why I actually got to B2B SaaS marketing was because I was marketing to marketers. So your ads, they are amazing memes, they are funny. So I would expect that they will be more shared with marketers. But if someone is advertising cybersecurity product or IT product, I don't think that would be perceived as well in shareability because they are not B2B marketers loving memes.
Yeah.
But yes, in your case for B2B marketing software, that's dark social. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of talking about like dark social because it's hard to quantify it. But luckily on your screen you can quantify it, and I've seen that with 20 shares. I think you shared with me the one with like 30 plus shares.
Yeah, the other one has maybe more than 100 shares actually by now. So it's a lot.
Yep.
Could you maybe give us a little bit an introduction to what does on-platform metrics look like? What are, when you're inside of Reddit ads, what is the metrics that you're able to observe on the platform? And maybe for each of them, I know there's 5 or 6, so it's not that many. What does best practice or good case normally look like?
Yep. So because you can browse Reddit either from your logged in account or literally you can Google and browse it without account, up until a few weeks ago or a few months ago, they didn't have frequency metrics. So frequency cap was quite unreliable, but fun fact, they introduced frequency a few weeks ago. So now you can see how frequent your ad shows. That's just a fun fact. Now coming back to your metrics, main KPI for a leading indicator, whether something will perform well or not, is click-through rate, clickability of your ad. However, as I said, memes perform off the charts. They get clickability. So I would look for some other ad formats in order to not become meme accounts. So click-through rate is the big one.
Yeah, I've just pulled up a screenshot here of our of our numbers so you can remember them. But it's basically impressions, CPM, clicks, CPC, click-through rate, and then spend. And you're saying CTR is the one that you particularly should be paying attention to?
Yes, and then also when optimizing, I decrease bid for 5 to 10% every week, because what's happening is I tested it extensively. If I have super high bid, my ad will show as soon as I open the platform. However, if my bid is decreased, then my ad will not show straight away. It will show 2, 3, 5, 7 hours into the day, etc. So that's the way to not burn your budget, because your ads will still show, you still use your budget, but you'll have so many more impressions or clicks.
But so for to simplify the rule of thumb for click-through rate, what is good normally in your opinion?
Refine Labs claims that 0.25% is good click-through rate. However, I found that you can reach it effortlessly, so I would aim for at least 0.4% click-through rate. If I have 0.6 or more, I'm more than happy.
If you look at ours, it's almost 1%. So it's doing, in that sense, we're doing quite well, right?
Yes, definitely. And also you have another custom columns that you can add. So I always add view to lead and click to lead columns. So
Okay. Are you just
pixel.
relying on the pixel?
Yes, because even there is no means for you to track whether someone saw the ad and converted with any platform. Like I know that with Dreamdata, you can do it on LinkedIn impressions. There is no ways to do it in any platform for Reddit, but they
Hmm.
share the data themselves, whether someone saw the ad and then converted within your attribution window on the platform.
That's a super good point, Kris. I think that's probably essential for judging the Reddit ads, that you catch that behavior of consumption and then somebody Googling your brand name afterwards.
Yes, however, there will always be issue with incrementality if you rely purely on platform metrics, because someone might see your LinkedIn ad, Reddit ad, then Google and convert that way. and 3 platforms will claim that they were the conversion event.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, I would just treat the view through conversion as a proxy of how the ad performs.
Yeah.
But in the end, I would always lean towards multi-touch attribution if possible.
Yeah. No, but it's like, well, I think it's a method here is also like, what are we trying to do? We're trying to understand whether it works or not. So if it says 0 on review through, yeah, it's not working. But if things are coming through, well, okay, let's try to get smarter on it.
Yeah, definitely. So yes, I like to add those view through conversions and click through conversions to get a better picture of what performs and what doesn't.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. Do you have any experience with kind of how, like, if we talk about time from running the ad until the leads show up and convert on the website? Is it same day, like in some e-commerce, or is it same week, same month, or what's your kind of take on that?
To be honest, it depends. I've seen direct conversions, so like last touch straight away. Then I've seen some, I'd say that 1/3 of them will come within a week. 1/3 of them will be anytime between 1 week to like 3 months. And 1/3 of them will be probably more direct, like up to 1 day.
Okay. So in other terms, also, if you see nothing coming through, then you should start being a bit suspicious, right?
Yes. At the end of the day, no matter how much you like the platform, if you see zeros and you tried multiple different things, maybe that's not the platform for you. Like at the end of the day, heart is one thing, but numbers are numbers.
I think, to my experience in B2B marketing, if you're really in doubt whether something works or not, then it's probably not working. Do you follow kind of how Reddit ads are developing towards the future? Do you think it's gonna grow as a platform that we in B2B marketing utilizes? Is the platform itself, the technology developing? What have you seen there?
Yes, so Reddit ads is still in its infancy, but I've seen huge improvement over the last year or 2 years or so. So yes, I guess because more B2B advertisers are coming into the platform, Reddit tries to accommodate it. So like, for example, right now they introduce frequency metrics only because they couldn't do it before. They use some rough version of dynamic UTMs because other platforms have it. I would see it leaning more towards different ad formats and refined targeting if I had to guess. But it's definitely like I like where the platform is going over the last 18 months.
Yeah, I've wrote to them also to offer some kind of IP targeting in there. That would be really nice. So if we knew that this was this company, then you wouldn't mind whatever kind of community, or you would care less about which community you advertised within, because you knew that you'd be targeting the right company IP.
Actually, that would be huge, but they are not moving as fast as other platforms. However, yes, we are getting there compared to where the platform was 18 months ago, where it is now. It's a huge difference. Like even with the support level, like advertisers definitely knows that money is in B2B because yes, reps are trying to expand their knowledge, learn more about B2B objectives. They even start to use our lingo, which didn't happen 18 months ago. So I like where the platform is going.
But I think also Reddit is probably, of all the social networks, is probably one of the more privacy sensitive ones. Like the users come out of a tradition that you can't just fuck around with people's privacy. So there's also some limitations to what you can say advertisement solutions that they will seek, right?
Yes, definitely. However, on the other end, you have also LLMs that were learning on Reddit. They tried to charge recently for API calls for LLM learning.
Okay.
When you think about it, if you are advertising or having organic posts on Reddit about your company like 18 months ago, then if someone asks about the solution ChatGPT, I guess it's quite likely to recommend your company only because it was learning on how the company was. However, yes, also SEO power of Reddit, if you do organic, is amazing. You Google your company, if it was mentioned on Reddit, it will be boosted in there. However, yes, privacy is quite sensitive in there, and users don't mess around with it. Also,
That's another thing that I think was part of getting me interested in Reddit, is that they seem to have striked some kind of arrangement with Google about getting more and more crawled now, meaning that the pages get more indexed, so that if you're searching on Google for something, the likelihood of you finding a Reddit thread on the topic gets higher and higher, which means traffic on Reddit grows. And, if people's attention in there is there, then for us marketers, this is some place we wanna go and try to get that attention over to our websites.
However, I'm not sure how much Reddit would be, for example, able to capitalize on IP targeting, because even like, I think actually Laura from your company asked me like 18 months ago what was going on with Reddit blackout. Because you are anonymous on Reddit, you can be so much more pushy and offensive. So if you don't like what the platform is doing, you'll just do blackout. You'll stop participating in it. And that will hit their ad profit. If there is any changes in privacy, I wouldn't be surprised if Redditors push on it.
Can you just like the quick summary of the Reddit blackout? What was that?
So basically, LLMs like ChatGPT were learning from Reddit posts. And Reddit wanted to charge whoever is like using Reddit by APIs 1 cent or something per API pull. However, also hit small developers, small companies that are using like Reddit, for example, mobile Reddit browsers.
Yeah.
It would hit also small businesses, and Redditors didn't appreciate it. Or because of that, they did blackout. Probably like 1/3 of communities was inactive for like 2 days. I'm just giving that numbers from the top of my head, but it was huge overall. Yep.
Ouch. If we then look towards how can people in general get better at Reddit ads, kind of what's your recommendations there besides yourself being an influencer here? Who are there any particular people you're following or any kind of tools? Where can people train besides listening to this short conversation?
There is at AdConversion, like we have our own online academy where we will be releasing Reddit ads course within the upcoming months. Also, I would recommend you to start being user of your platform. For example, when I was working at Cognizant, I signed up on my phone to all sales communities. I know what they are talking about, what ads I see. On top of that, I'm sorry if I mispronounce names, but there is multiple people I follow. Davis, he's in the chat right now on LinkedIn. Davis Lanieks. So he's number one. Derks, Steamers, DRKSTEEMERS. I follow. We have like our own chat on LinkedIn to talk about Reddit as well. Max Reva is another one. He's so passionate about Reddit, he even created his own Reddit ads library back in the day, just so he can show what ads are displayed. So those are people from the top of my head that I follow for advices, etc.
Super nice. Yeah, in general, if people want to work with you because that's what you do for a living, what's the path to getting you to help companies, a company out?
So I work at AdConversion. If you go to adconversion.com, then on the top search bar, top nav bar, you have agency, and you'll get in touch with Silvio Perez, and then he'll be able to sort out the paperwork, etc., so we can work together. So that's the easiest way. Alternatively, if you have any questions about Reddit ads, LinkedIn ads, paid media, B2B SaaS in general, just slide into my DMs on LinkedIn.
Super nice, Kris. So maybe just let's try to finish off with if you were to summarize to people how to be successful on Reddit ads, what would be the kind of main takeaways that they should take from this short intro to Reddit ads?
There's 2 variables to succeed on Reddit: ads and targeting. So targeting only communities and do 1 community per ad group, then no audience expansion. And then in terms of ads, not boring, plain and simple, with plain and simple landing page, and mix in 1 or 2 meme ads, but don't over rely on them because you don't want to become meme account, because people will love you but might not necessarily buy your product.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's 2 elements. If you master them, you'll succeed on Reddit.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time, Kris. I don't know whether you make me feel good or bad about the Reddit ads we've been trying, but I definitely see the potential. But it also seems like you just don't win from day one. You need to test and experiment until you found the formula to be successful.
Yes, so basics, different creatives, then different communities, and then different objectives. And then just mix and match and play and see what works and what doesn't.
All right, that's it for today. Kris, thank you so much for taking the time.
We hope you like listening to us. Subscribe to our podcast and the ones that we have been guests on.
And if you have any feedback for us, just do let us know. And should there be a guest that you think we should be talking to, then pitch us.
We're looking forward to seeing you.